They bring their own guys. They bring the vehicles. Yeah.
The policy of the day.
Palace holding talks over plans for King's U.S. visit after Washington shooting. King Charles III is being kept fully informed of developments after a shooting incident at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, Buckingham Palace has said. A number of discussions will be taking place throughout the day to discuss with U.S. colleagues and our respective teams to what degree the events of Saturday evening may or may not impact on the operational planning for the visit, it said in a statement ahead of his trip to the U.S. on Monday.
Very rude.
Iran war. We're really playing the long game here.
The King's here that he can do some of that diplomatic work, and frankly, he's come to have a kind of moment.
The King is greatly relieved to hear that President Donald Trump, First Lady Melania, and all guests have been unharmed, it added. Trump and the First Lady were evacuated from the dinner in Washington, D.C. after an armed man rushed past a checkpoint. A government minister said earlier that the King's state visit would have appropriate security in place in relation to the risk.
Special bond that exists between
that which was the spur for it, but of course it's
King. He follows in the ever.
Chief Secretary to the Prime Minister Darren Jones told BBC One Sunday with Laura Kunzberg program the government and Buckingham Palace had been in close cooperation with U.S. officials before the trip. Further discussions will be taking place today ahead of next week, he said the morning after the incident. Speaking later on the same program, Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philps said it was vital to ensure the King was properly protected and urged U.S. and UK teams to review the monarch's security overnight.
King Charles III and Queen Camilla are embarking
at the host countries in the forefront. I think it's a bit difficult for a different.
He said security arrangements on such visits were ordinarily very tight, but they should be reviewed afresh to make sure there are no loopholes at all. But Philps said the trip should absolutely go ahead, as violence should not be allowed to stop diplomatic relations and politics from continuing as normal. Videos from the Correspondents' Dinner showed U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and Trump being removed from the stage by armed officers.
Which reminds the president that
I do hope you can see me today from where you are.
They bring their own guys. They bring the
Trump later told reporters that one Secret Service agent was shot at very close range, but was saved by his bulletproof vest. The Secret Service, which protects the president and other key officials, confirmed no one else had been injured and said one person had been taken into custody. The 31-year-old suspect is from Torrance in the Los Angeles region, California, police said. Sir Keir Starmer wrote on X that he was shocked by the incident, said it was a relief everyone attending the event, including Trump and the First Lady Melania, was safe.
Very, very rude.
Iran war. We're really playing the long game here.
The King's here that he can do some of that diplomatic work, and frankly, he's come to have.
Any attack on democratic institutions or on the freedom of the press must be condemned in the strongest possible terms, the Prime Minister added. Liberal Democrat leader Sir Ed Davey likewise condemned the really shocking scenes. He wrote on X, "Political violence is wrong. We must all condemn this attack and be thankful no lives were lost." Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform UK, said it was a relief that all attendees were safe.
But of course it's
King. He follows in the ever-present
because of the call for him to meet Epstein survivors and the
presidents.
However much we disagree about politics, if violence is used we all lose, he wrote on social media. King Charles III and Queen Camilla will be hosted by the president on the 4-day trip, the first UK state visit to the US since Elizabeth II's in 2007. The King is expected to address both houses of Congress, visit the 9/11 Memorial in New York, and attend a wreath-laying to honor fallen US and UK soldiers in Virginia.
King Charles III and Queen Camilla are embarking
at the host countries in the forefront. I think it's a bit difficult for a different.
It comes days after reports emerged that the U.S. could review its position on UK sovereignty of the Falklands Islands, something Philps said would be very reasonable for the King to raise with the president. Jones said he could not predict what the King would discuss, but that the government's position on the islands was clear. The Falklands is British territory and the only people that get to decide otherwise are the islanders themselves.
And frankly, he's come to have a kind of moment which reminds the president that
I do hope you can see me today from where you are.
They bring their own guys. They bring the
Broadcaster and historian Jonathan Dimbleby meanwhile told the BBC the trip should be postponed because of the uncertainty of the president, whom he said had systematically mocked the UK. Sound judgment is to deploy that asset, that soft power, at the right time, the King's close friend told BBC Radio 4's broadcasting house. I think this is not the right time.
In the ever-present
because of the call for him to meet Epstein survivors and the
Presidents come and go, prime ministers come.
The problem is the uncertainty of the president. He will be very effusive about the king, the royal family, as he always is, one day. Next day, he rubbishes the prime minister, he goes back again into the feebleness, as he sees it, of the British Navy. That's what we can say. Don't forget to support our channel by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. We thank you all for your support.
The king coming here.
King Charles III and Queen Camilla are embarking.
The host countries in the forefront. I think it's a bit difficult for different...